Hey y'all, this is Jay Godi and you're watching the Tea Behind the Music. Today I'm going to be talking about my song, Though I Fell. I'm very proud of this song. It's my favorite and I know that y'all are going to love it as well. So before I even came across this song, I got a notification on YouTube that one of my favorite producers named Airavata actually put out a new beat. So I was like, okay, let me go check it out. And I was like, damn, okay, this is cool. I'm feeling this. And at the time I was kind of going through something. So I was like, I could do something with this. So, I hit him up and I was like, hey, I really like this beat. I would love to purchase it. Can we work together on it though? And he was pretty cool. I tried to work it that same day, but that same inspiration I felt when I first got it wasn't really there. So I kind of just pushed it back for a little bit because I think my head was all over the place at the time, so I wasn't really able to come up with something good. But when I first started this, the song was actually called It's On Me, and it was completely different, not really the vibe. And honestly, I didn't vibe with it because one, I wanted to make an empowering song for myself, and I felt like that was more shitting on myself rather than giving myself the love that I needed. And I was just blaming myself for everything, which, I just needed to love myself, and that I just wasn't vibing with this. So I put it away again for a couple more months. And I didn't really start working on it again until towards like December. And when December came around, I was just like more in touch with myself at that time, and I ended up keeping some of the parts from that because those feelings that I was feeling when I originally started were there. So like I wanted to have that realness and also be able to add how I'm feeling now and kind of blend it all together so it feels more me. So like the part where it goes like, I'm in your planet stuck with a new view, beyond your galaxy looking for rescue. I lost myself in you, but I can't blame you. Still I think I forgot my own last. I think I forgot my lyrics right there, a little bit. But that part I kept it because I was like, I feel that. I still feel that, and I was like, okay, I'll flip it around and do something cool for the second pre-hook and make it kind of the same, because where I was then and where I am now was completely different, but in a better way. And then I also kept the It's on me, I just blame myself for letting you in. That part I kept from the original song because I felt like it blended in with the message that I was trying to say. Like, I'm not really trying to blame the guy that I was going through it with. I was more trying to focus on looking within me and not kind of shitting on myself too much, but more like I do blame myself for being in that situation because I could have got myself out. I just, I care too much. But I mean, that's where I was at the time. Also, another thing I wanted to add was there was actually a rap verse in there, and originally my plan was to get Nicki Minaj on it, but I didn't really know who to reach out in her camp, so I just scrapped that whole idea. And it just, the idea was like really good. So I mean, it may happen for remix in the future. I don't know. We'll see how this song kind of flourishes, but if that happens and she does it exactly how I felt it, oof, it's gonna be good. Trust me. We'll see when that happens. In that time period that I wasn't working on the song, I would write little notes for myself to like how I was feeling from the situation I was in, and I went back to it, and I also listened to my older songs that I that I wrote about this dude. Yes, I wrote 4 songs about this dude as of now. Yeah, they're my favorite songs. I'm very grateful for him for that. But yeah, that's a thing. I was writing notes, I was going through that, listening to the old music, and then that was around December, and that's when I kind of just like, okay, I was like, you know what, let me just express everything. And what I did is I added those songs into the new song and made it a whole new like experience from what I originally had created. So like I guess I'll just tell ya. The songs I wrote was Fool, Mi Amor, and Dreaming. And those songs, I felt connected to this man that much. And I wanted to put that in there to kind of finalize the song and make it feel like an end of a chapter. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of where I was at. And after actually going through all those notes and listening to the songs, I was like, okay, what the hell am I doing? Why am I like why am I wasting away? So I took all of that, I bundled it up, and I was like, you know what? I can't control the situation, but what I can do is how I deal with myself and how I take care of myself in the end. And then that's when I started working on the song, and it just kind of all slowly started coming together as I was working on it. And now it's my favorite thing. I love it. There's so much meaning into the song that it was hard and difficult to put together, but I was able to make it work. So before I get into the how everything is structured, tell you a little my personal influence. There's this guy I thought I had a really strong connection with, and after a while we kind of just started kind of fading away from each other. And well, I mean, we were never really in a relationship, to be honest. Not really. We were not in a relationship at all. It's just I felt very connected to him, and I could tell he could feel the same way. Maybe it was just in my head, I don't know. We never had a conversation, and probably never will, and that's okay. If he ever does, I'm open to conversation, but that's not where we are right now. And once we started fading away, he would kind of push me away, and then I would kind of be like, okay, I can let go now, I can move on and be okay. And then I get pulled right back in, and then I would pull away, and then I get right back in, and it's just a lot of back and forth. And I mean, my whole life changed for the better because of this man, so I'm not really like, I'm not gonna shit on him or anything, because that's not where my heart is. And I don't know, I just felt alone, and I felt like I needed someone to rescue me. And it just, I guess in a way, because of that situation going back and forward, I kind of just felt abandoned, and it just, you know, it sucked. And one thing that was important to me while I was making this song was to look within myself and be like, okay, you can't really blame him for what happened, because you knew you'd end up in this same place. And I was just like, let me just open up to love again, not close myself off. And I mean, he brought the best in me, so I was able to grow a lot as a person. And the day I came up with the hook you hear now was because honestly, I wanted to cry. I was kind of just thinking about the situation and everything, and me and this guy weren't really talking to each other, so I just felt off. I didn't feel like myself, and I wanted to cry, but I started writing on my phone, and I was like, I could cry right now, but I won't. And later on, I kind of just went to my house, and I was just thinking again, and I was like, I don't feel right. And I was just like, let me just work on the song. Let me just like feel this. And then I just started singing, and I was like, I could cry right now, but I won't. I could break right now, but I won't. I could scream right now, but I won't. And then that's kind of where that ended, and I was like, that just does not sound bad. And I was just kind of in my feelings, so I was like, okay, let's start recording. So I started recording, and it just like, everything just kind of worked out. And then I was just like thinking to myself, I was like, well, how does this end? Do I repeat? Like, I didn't really know how to end that part, because it just wasn't blending in. And then I was like, well, I added these ones, and there was like, originally I just played myself was in between the first part of the verse with the words that I just sang. And then I was like, okay, there's too much going on, so I moved it over one, and then I was like, ooh, and then I could add like, ooh, whoa. And I was like, okay, well, how do I blend that in together and also make it so that the end of the syllables of the first part of the song blend into the next part? And I was like, though I fell, I love you, whoa. And everything just kind of came together, and I was like, okay, I really like this. Okay, let's fucking go. And I loved it so much. I was just like, yeah, this is a perfect way to blend it. And also it kind of really does say how it happened, because I was closed off to love. I didn't want to love again. I didn't want to deal with any of that. I didn't want to feel any of those emotions. And at one point, when this guy came into my life, the more I got to know this guy after he had come into my life, I was like, I can open up again. There's something here. I'm not even scared. if I fall, that I would get hurt. And I just wasn't afraid. And honestly, at the end of the day, at least I can love again, and at least I'm sure of what I want and what I see now, and I grow a lot because of this situation. It's actually getting kind of hot here. One second. Let the breeze in. Now we're getting to the second verse. The second verse actually talks about how I felt very connected to this person, and how I could feel him, and I could tell he could feel me too, because anytime I was like feeling low and no one else noticed, he would do it, because I'm pretty good at fucking hiding it. But for him, it was like, yeah, you're not good at hiding it, but that's because we were on a different frequency than everybody else. Once that connection kind of started to fade away, it kind of just felt like he didn't really see me anymore, and I didn't think anything of it. I just kind of was just like, okay, maybe it's just an off month or whatever. And one day I decided to wear his glasses and look at myself in the mirror to see myself how he sees me. I don't know what prompted me to do that. That was kind of lame, but I did it, and I looked at myself, and I didn't see myself. I deadass looked at myself and said, what the fuck am I doing? At the end of the day, it's like, I don't need rescue. I don't need no one to come and save me. I don't need anybody. I need myself. And that's what I wanted to kind of put out there and, remind myself and remind other people as well. So that's it. When I came up with the bridge, that was actually me talking to him directly without really talking to him, because that day I wanted to call him and just talk to him, and every part of me just wanted to reach out, but I stopped myself because I didn't really know how to have a conversation, because we've grown so much far apart that I don't even know how to communicate anymore. And I was just like, I wish you loved me the way I love you. And at one point I like kind of sat back and I was like, what am I gonna say if I call him? Like, what would I say? I stopped myself from calling him. I was just like, okay, leave it alone, push it aside. And I just kind of started singing to myself as if I was talking to him. And I was just like, I wish you loved me the way I love you. I wish you treated me the way I treat you. I wish you wanted me the way I want you. I wish you loved me. I wish you loved me. And I was like, ooh, I like that. And I started working on the song again, and I added it to the bridge, and I was just like, ooh, I really like this. It just went in perfectly. It felt natural, it felt safe, and safe. I was able to release that feeling and keep myself from calling him and telling him all my feelings. So instead, I worked on the song, and I finished the whole song that same day. It was wild. I didn't get no sleep, but it was so worth it. This was definitely a very hard song to make for me personally, because there was so much thought put into it, from the lyrics to the way I sang certain words and the way that I layered all the vocals together and the way I blended in the backgrounds and harmonies. Everything that I put into the song had intentions and an emotion that I wanted to bring out of myself and for the people that are listening. There's actually a part in the song where I'm actually screaming at the top of my lungs and like full of emotion and power, just because I was like, I wish you loved me the way I'm not gonna scream right now because I'm outside and I don't want my neighbors to hear this. But I just kind of wanted my emotions to come through, and I also wanted to have that little build up. One thing that's very important to me when I'm working with other producers is I have to add a layer of myself into it. So I do my own production on it as well, kind of switch things up. And that's one of the things I really appreciated about Airavata. That's who produced the song. Is he was like, you're gonna kill it, just go ahead, do the thing. And I would send it back to him, have him listen to it, see how he thinks. And it worked out. I'm so glad, because he would actually give me in-depth stuff on how to actually like what could be better, or what's wrong with this, or how this isn't mixed properly and stuff like that. Like, I really appreciate stuff like that, especially working with people, because you're putting your heart out there and you want it to be the best that it can. And he amazing. I love Airavata. Y'all check him out. I'm gonna put the link of his stuff down below. He's so fucking good. I swear to God, you're gonna love that shit. As I was doing my own production, I was like, you know what? Let me add a few layers of other stuff in there. And one idea I came up with was adding every song that I ever wrote about him, taking the hook melodies from there and putting it into the song. So like in the beginning, you'll hear the melody for Fool. I'm just a fool, don't wanna be a fool. I'd be a fool for you. And that kind of was like the intro to the song is the first song that I wrote about him. The second one is the second song I wrote about him, and that's the Mi Amor, and I added like a little bell for it, and that went kind of like Mi Amor, Mi Amor, Mi Amor. So then for the hook, I added Dreaming, and this is what that came out to sound like. Now I'm dreaming, I'm dreaming. So, as you can tell, I'm very proud of this song. Check it out on Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else you can stream music in. I'm so happy with the song. I'm so thankful that I was able to make it, and I'm thankful that it helped me look at myself in a different point of view and be able to uplift myself so that I could keep moving forward. And I hope that it does the same for everybody else. So check it out. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Jay Godi. Just keep being a bad bitch. That's all. And love yourself. That's very important.
I could cry right now, but I won't. I could break right now, but I won't. I could scream right now, but I won't. Though I fell